First of all, good morning. John was a prophet, a preacher of truth. And as a prophet, he always wanted to correct the illicit, the unlawful union of King Herod and this woman Herodias. Why? Because Herodias was the wife of his brother Philip. So John always corrected Herod and Herodias because their union was unlawful. So because of that, Herod had John arrested and imprisoned. But although he hated John, a part of the king loved John because of his boldness, because of John's being righteous and holy. So a big part of the king loved to listen to John because John was a righteous man and very frank and bold in the way he preached. But on the other hand, the woman Herodias had a grudge, irreconcilable grudge, hatred against John, and she wanted to kill him, but she was just waiting for the perfect timing. And here it is, the gospel you just heard. The perfect timing finally came when it was during the King Herod's birthday, and her daughter, according to tradition, the name of that girl was Salome, danced in front of the king, and the king was so impressed that, listen, this is the main point, on the spot decided, because of his joy, on the spot he decided, little girl, I am so impressed. Ask anything, even half of my kingdom, I will give it to you. On the spot, he immediately decided. And since the girl maybe was a minor and did not know how to decide yet, she went to her mother. And the mother, who had an irreconcilable hatred against John, requested, tell the king, I want the head of John the Baptist. And what was the reaction of King Herod? And let me read, and I quote, and the king was greatly saddened. But there is nothing we can do because he already sworn an oath in front of the visitors. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the point. Never decide yet when you are still in an emotion. Especially anger, sadness, and lust. Never decide yet when we are still in an emotion. Let us allow this to cool down first. Let us allow this to cool down first before we decide. Give this a space to be able to reflect on what we are going to say and do. Because if we let our emotions decide immediately, we have not reflected on that decision yet. So there is a possibility that the decision is wrong. In the end, we will regret the decision. For example, I've heard of a mother who beat her son to death, her little child to death, because the little child, out of his naughtiness, broke that vase she brought in Turkey. It was very expensive. But because the little boy was naughty, he broke the vase. She was so angry, she was so mad, that on the spot, she beat her child to death. And upon seeing blood, when she came back to her senses, she cried. She regretted the decision, but the damage has been done. There's nothing she could do. How many of us have decided or had decided out of anger? How many of us bursted out? How many of us became impulsive because of anger? Another, how many decided immediately to commit suicide because of sadness? How many decided immediately without any reflection? How many followed the impulse of sadness and committed suicide? Another, how many without any reflection, because of lust, immediately decided and engaged in premarital sex? How many of our young people, because of that desire of the flesh, that feeling of lust, immediately engaged into premarital sex? And how many husbands and wives committed adultery because of that impulse of lust? And even joy, that's a feeling. Herod decided based on his happiness. So please include joy. Never decide, even when you are happy. Always bring everything up to your brain. So my dear brothers and sisters, anywhere and anytime our emotions burst out or strike out, never decide yet. Bring everything up to our reflection. According to Ignatian spirituality, bring everything up to discernment and ask yourself, for example, I am angry right now and I am about to say something, but I have to cool down this mind and heart first. Relax, chill, and ask myself, letter A, will this be beneficial to the other? Or letter B, will this be harmful to the other? Reflect. Okay. What I am going to say will be harmful to the other, so I will not say this. It will just hurt this feeling and I will just regret the decision. Amen.